Hare Krishna. I offer my humble obeisance to everyone present, and then we'll start with a prayer and kirtan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Tisvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Shagana Raghunathanvitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parihana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. Everyone can raise their hands. Hare Krishna and chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं. हरि ओं तत्सत्. आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाव्यदिव्यच्छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते. चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते. चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते. We'll do a very short kirtan, and if possible, let's try to sing along together. Um, very, very short and very simple kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Kaliyuga Pavan Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. I hope everyone is doing well. Hare Krishna, Nandini Priya Mataji. Very nice to see you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare, Hare Krishna. So let's get started. Um, Today, I hope all of you have Bhagavad Gita with you. We'll touch upon this Bhagavad Gita and especially some of the very core basic things like, okay, within Bhagavad Gita that we want to touch. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, in any section that we go, none of the section is actually basic. Like, okay, it gives lot of insight and what Krishna is saying, and Srila Prabhupada has expounded on this like, okay, with this purports. So before we even get to Bhagavad Gita, I want to um, touch upon there are two types of knowledge. One is Jada Gyan. Jada Gyan means material knowledge, and another is Divya Gyan, which is called in English transcendental knowledge. So if you see Jada Gyan, the material knowledge means that knowledge which we get in our schools, in our colleges, in 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 the in the universities. Also, we have this when we are working, right? Like, okay, so that whether it's engineering or whatever field, like medical, there is always um, material knowledge involved. Uh, the characteristics of material knowledge is it's always changing. So, for instance, like I'm in the IT um, field, or that is my domain of work. And in IT, information technology, in the science of computers, it is always changing, and you have to be always up to date with like, okay, what is the latest trend? Like, okay, if let's say, for instance, 25 years back or 30 years back, the technology at that time was mainframe. Mainframe was the operating system, and all the work were being done in mainframes. Um, and then slowly, uh, from that, like, okay, there came this open source systems. Like, okay, the open source systems did exist at that time, but mainframes were most reliable. Then there were open source systems like, okay, that came in. Nowadays, like, okay, we have cloud computing, okay, and things are ever changing. Similarly, if we take medical field, for example, in the science of medicines, let's say this very complex diseases like cancer and uh, for instance, like you have at one point of time all this HIV, AIDS, and other stuffs. Like, there are many types of diseases. Like, uh, if you see, there's always newer medicines, advanced medicines coming in. COVID, for instance, like, there was a lot of research going on where the whole world was uh, struggling, like, to uh, cope up with, like, what to do in this kind of scenario. So the information that we are hearing is material science. There is a lot of information. There is always this changing information. If you see even food, science of food, many times you might see that, okay, oh, eating tomatoes is very good for health. But sometimes you'll see that, okay, oh, tomatoes eating is not good for health, causes, say, for example, kidney stone. So this is a very common trend in the material science, and nothing is constant. It's ever changing. And the funniest thing, like, if you see, there is an there is a Nobel Prize winner. I don't remember the name. Like, this is, I think it was in the sub in this in the area of chemistry. Okay, one of the Nobel um, award winner. He was a he proved some theory, and after some time, his son, he disproved that theory, and he also got a Nobel Prize. So you can imagine, like, as you can see, like, things are constantly changing. That is one important thing to note, like, in terms of material science. However, when we are talking about the Divya Gyan, this was Jada Gyan that we talked about, material science. It's about materials, it's about, like, atoms, studying those particles, like, okay, CT scans, like, okay, as we study, right? Like, okay, it's about that study. And now, if we talk about the Divya Gyan or the transcendental science, in the transcendental science, the reason it is called transcendental is because it transcends the nature of this world. Okay, it is divya, means divine. Okay, and that in that gyan, everything is constant. Okay, so for instance, like, in the material world, if we have newspaper, right, which has news, like, I don't know how much a newspaper costs, like, in India these days, but in US, like, okay, anywhere between, like, $3-4, $4-5. I don't know. I don't buy newspaper, but I'm just saying that, okay, maybe that is what it costs, like, to buy a newspaper. But if you go the very next day, and if you get that same newspaper, what is the value of that news? It has no value, because that news is no longer valid. It is no longer latest. That is why it is no longer new. No one is interested. But on the contrary, if you take this, if you take the transcendental science, it is it is not ever changing. It is very constant, and that is why this science of Bhagavad Gita, it is the same science that Krishna has spoken 5,000 years back, and we are still talking about that particular science. It is still applicable, it is still relevant, and it will be relevant for the time to come as well. The 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 crucial thing is that the realizations of this science as applicable, okay, uh, that keeps more and more, like, okay, as we are advancing more into this Kali Yuga, okay, we can understand, and it is very relevant to our times. So with this being said, I want to touch upon, like, okay, one. I want to go to the introduction section of this Bhagavad Gita, and I want to touch one portion from there, actually. So I hope everyone has this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Does everyone has that? This is the book that I'm referring about. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Nandini Priya Mataji, do you have Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah,
Okay,
Prabhu.
sure. So I will go ahead and share my screen. Uh, so for those of you who you may already know um, that we have this Veda base. And what is this Veda base? Veda base is where like all the Srila Prabhupada books are available online for easy access. Let's say like, okay, if you want to read Bhagavad Gita, but you don't have the actual physical copy available, you can go to this Veda base where all of these are available. Like, okay. So we go to this Bhagavad Gita and we go to this introduction portion. Okay. And in this introduction portion, I'll go towards the end of it. If you go to the end of it, you will see that here, towards the very end, Srila Prabhupada is he's actually giving us the Gita Mahatmya. Okay, so what are the benefits of studying the Gita? Okay, so there are very wonderful um, advantages of reading the Gita. So, like if you see, this is the first Gita Mahatmya. What is there? It says Gita Shastram idam punyam. Gita Shastram idam punyam ya pathet prayata puman. So, if one properly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all the miseries and anxieties of life. Bhaya Shokadi Varjita. One will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. This is the advantage of reading Gita. Like, okay, fear will be anyway gone, but then one's next life will be spiritual. So, like this, you can read, like, okay, all this very nice, nicely. These are all given by Adi Shankaracharya. It's given, like, okay, and this is the second Gita Mahatmya, like, okay, Gita Dhyana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya cha Naiva Shanti Papani Purva Janma Kritani cha. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Now, in this material world, I would like to pause here and say that, okay, in this material world, what happens is we are always striving, like, okay, we are every living entity is put under the who is under the clutches of the material nature. They are they are striving with three different kind of um, kleshas. That means that, okay, they are striving with they are struggling with three different areas. What are those? We discussed this earlier. They are adhyatmic, adi bhautik, and adi devik. Okay, adhyatmic means that um, it has to do with the problems due to the body and the mind. I may be physically doing well, or I may have some physical disease. Okay, in some cases we may not know there may be a disease that may be inside and it is just cooking inside. Okay, till we actually get to know. Okay, and then there are problems of the mind. Okay, so problems of the mind these days, if you see, it is very we've seen that, okay, there are problems like stress, there are problems like depression, many different types of problems, like, okay, that each of us are going through in this material world. Okay, and then there is the adi bhautik. Adi bhautik is like problems due to other living entities. Okay, I may be doing okay, but I may have some problems, but then my supervisor, my boss at work, he is creating some trouble. Or maybe my neighbor is like very unfriendly, he puts up loud music when I'm just going to sleep. Those kind of challenges. And third is like and or like, okay, I'm okay, but this dog next door like keeps barking, I'm not able to sleep well. Or there is mosquito, or there is adi devik, problems due to natural disasters. Natural disasters can be like tsunami. Okay, it can be due to any kind of cyclone. Sometimes excessive heat also can be a disaster. Okay, many people are like Oh, I know in India, Delhi, like I just recently saw, has recorded the highest temperature in all times. 53 is what I believe. Like this struck there. It is still like we are entering into the month of June. So you can understand global warming is becoming such a major issue. So these are some of the challenges like, okay, that we struggle on a very day-to-day basis. And Bhagavad Gita is saying like, okay, the reactions of the past misdeeds will not act upon this. So among this, I did not want to touch upon those ones, but I wanted to touch upon this one. Um, s- that is this is the sixth Mahatmya. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopala nandana partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. Says the meaning is this Gita Upanishad. This Bhagavad Gita is also called as Gita Upanishad. It is one of the Upanishads. Okay. And how many Upanishads are there? Does anyone know that? There are about 108 Upanishads. Okay. And this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. Okay. And this Bhagavad Gita is compared to a cow. And Lord Krishna, he is famous as a cowherd boy. He is milking the cow. And what is Arjuna compared to? Arjuna is compared to a calf. And the learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So, if you, in case if you have not seen the milking of a cow, generally what happens is when they milk the cow, right, the milkman who milks the cow, the milk is actually brought out for the calf. Okay, and whatever excess milk is there, that is being supplied for the people in general. Okay, so they can enjoy that milk. So in this case, Krishna is milking the cow Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is bringing out that knowledge like, in the form of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjun is the calf. He is actually drinking that, and then whatever is rest, like, okay, that is being distributed for our purpose. So that is our fortune, like, okay, that we have this knowledge available. Now, see the in this knowledge also we have to understand who is the authority in the knowledge. The authority is Krishna. So in our day-to-day life, we have authorities. We have authority at home. We have authority at work. See, let's take an example. Like, okay, if we have authority at work, like, okay, if my immediate supervisor is is my authority, okay, and I am, let's say the market is going bad, like, okay, I am in stress, okay, that, oh, what is happening to the market, okay, the job market is very down, there are a lot of layoffs going around, what will happen, what will happen, what will happen, right? But however, if the CEO is my friend, I may be working, I may be having some immediate supervisor, but the CEO is my friend, then, and he says, okay, buddy, you don't need to worry about all these things, I got you covered actually, you will stay, no doubt, like whatever the market condition is. Okay. Do we have really a reason to be anxious about things? We don't. So similarly, like, okay, amidst all the different authorities, like, okay, we may have a authority at home, we may have a authority at work, we may have different types of authority. But if the if you have to understand, like when we had our initial those 16 sessions, among the first 3 4 sessions we talked about how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So if that supreme personality of Godhead, okay, if we are trying to establish a relationship with him, then, and if we establish a relationship with him, if we are trying to understand what his position is, okay, and knowing that there is absolutely nothing to fear in every situation, we know that, okay, this our best friend Krishna, he knows what situation we are in, and he has a best plan for us. So we can be very optimistic with what our future holds. So, and in this case, we also have to understand. So this translation is by uh, His Grace, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So so we have to understand what is Srila Prabhupada's position. So Srila Prabhupada also mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that there are, see, like, okay, about 700, 800, or 1000 editions of Bhagavad Gita available, written by different authors and translated by different, basically, they are translated by different people. Okay, so why is Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita this important? Because why I'm saying this is because if we know that, okay, what we are getting, then in that case, our our absorption of this Bhagavad Gita will become really fantastic. So, Srila Prabhupada, if you look at many other authors, like, okay, even the President of India has also written Bhagavad Gita. Like, okay. Then there is a freedom fighter, like, okay, Raja Ram Mohan Roy has also written a Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so and then there are many others Bhagavad Gita. Actually, someone gifted me a Bhagavad Gita a few years back. Fortunately, before that, I got Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and I was trying to study actually at that point. And somehow I felt okay, they were answering a lot of my questions. Uh, but when I saw this other Bhagavad Gita, because I always thought Prabhupada said that there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, they don't uh, they they do not consider Krishna as the supreme authority. The one who is the main speaker, that person is not even considered as a supreme authority there. Okay, if we do not understand the supreme position of Krishna, then that Bhagavad Gita is as good as any other material gyan. But that is not the case. So, so Prabhupada very wonderfully explains that, okay, one who understands the heart of Krishna, okay, which is a pure devotee, that person can actually distribute that Bhagavad Gita. And what is Srila Prabhupada's position? Is it is not that, okay, he just tried to understand Bhagavad Gita and he is trying to present that out. No, that's not the case. But if you go towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, there Srila Prabhupada explains that, okay, how he comes in this disciplic succession. So this is like, okay, this is the end of the introduction where the knowledge how it transcended from Krishna to all this different, and Srila Prabhupada, he is the 32nd Acharya in this line actually. This is how the knowledge came in, and this is how the knowledge transcended across, like, okay, through the disciplic succession. And this is one of the verses from Bhagavad Gita, like, okay, evam parampara praptam imam rajarsho vidhu, that this knowledge is coming in the disciplic succession, parampara. Okay, that is how we have to understand this Bhagavad Gita. So, and if we understand, like, okay, when Srila Prabhupada came in, he came in, he did not come here like, oh, so I am the 32nd Acharya, let me go and give. No, no, no. That was not how it happened. His his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, he he actually instructed Srila Prabhupada that, okay, why don't you go ahead and spread the knowledge of Krishna consciousness in the Western speaking countries. So in the Western countries. And Srila Prabhupada, he got this instruction at the age of, um, I believe it was around the age of 30, 33 was when he got this. No, I'm sorry. He got this in his 20s. He took about 40 years to prepare for this. He translated Bhagavad Gita. He translated the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, and then at the ripe age of 68 or 69, 69, I believe, like that is when he traveled to US with absolutely nothing. He had Indian rupees 40. Indian rupees 40, uh, it it doesn't mean anything. Like during that time, that Indian rupee 40 was, the valuation was $2.50. But in $2.50, one could barely get one meal. Okay, and that is what he was traveling with. Okay, and he was carrying Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita with him. That was all he had. And why was he going? He was going to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. He had no other personal, any um, any other personal aim for this. He did not want to become famous and open a Prabhupada institution here. He had come to open here the International Center for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, absolutely. And if you, he had no disciples here. He came, he started chanting because he's a pure devotee. Many, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one who is a devotee, one who is a pure devotee, okay, basically what happens is one who takes to this line of devotional service, the qualities of Krishna, they start manifesting in that person. And automatically, Krishna means all attractive. So a pure devotee is also all attractive. So Prabhupada attracted so many people, okay. And who were these people? These people were hippies. Hippies means like, okay, the government had given up on these people because they were drug addicts, they were alcoholics, they were illicit sex mongers, they were meat eaters, they were gamblers, like, okay, and that was the condition at that point of time. But these people, when they came in association with Srila Prabhupada, then at that time, like, okay, their lives changed for the betterment, and they started taking up devotional service. And not just that, many of them, like, okay, became stalwart devotees, okay, who are now involved in, who are now engaged in distributing this to others for their benefit. So we have to understand that. And when this happened, like, when he set out from India just with 40 rupees, he did not have anything, any accommodation or anything. Oh, because even if we go to a nearby city, like if from Michigan, if I have to go to next state, Ohio, or forget about Ohio, even if I have to go within Michigan, like 40 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles, I'll see, okay, did I get my wallet? Okay, uh, okay, do I have gas here? This, that, right? Or everything we make sure, right? Or even if I have to do a night stay, oh, is that place where I'm staying, is that comfortable enough? Those are the kinds of things that we do. But Srila Prabhupada had nothing. He had absolutely nothing. His faith and his conviction on Krishna was absolutely strong, like that he is going there not for his own enjoyment, but he's coming to give, not to take anything. This is a very crucial point because the um, see, the thing is, how do we understand who is a devotee? Okay, a devotee is always he because in when we as we discuss further, we'll talk about association with a devotee. When we talk about devotee, we are talking to someone who is coming in the line of disciplic succession. And a devotee is someone who has no ulterior motives. But we will not get to know whether a person has an ulterior motive or not unless we actually see, observe what he is doing. And and even after observation also, it may sometimes be very difficult to understand because we are neophytes. We are very new to this. And how do we understand this? That a devotee always speaks about Krishna. He always is absorbed. A pure devotee, I'm talking about. A pure devotee is always absorbed in Krishna. A pure devotee has this quality of avyartha kalatvam. He does not waste any time. So if we study the life of Srila Prabhupada, he, before he set out for his journey, he actually was sleeping only 2 hours. When everyone was in the middle of the night, when everyone was sleeping, he would be translating Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, sitting in Vrindavan as the instruction of his Guru Maharaj. Okay, and every night he would be crying out to the Goswamis sitting at Shishi Radha Damodar temple to give them their mercy, to give them, to give him their mercy, so that he can fulfill the order of his Guru. Now that is the nature of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, and when he came here, okay, it has been very difficult. He was staying in Bowery area in New York, okay, which is a slum area. He was staying with drug addicts, illicit sex mongers, those people, because he did not have any place to stay. They just offered him to stay, and he took that as Krishna's will, and he carried on. And as he did that, like those who came in contact with him, they started getting purified. Like, okay. their lives changed, their lives got transformed. So that Srila Prabhupada we are talking about, who has given us this Bhagavad Gita. So having said that, let us now delve into this introduction in the very beginning part actually. So I'll once again go ahead and share my screen. So far, I want to ask like, if anyone has any questions or any comments, and you can um, let me know if there is anything. Can we proceed? Okay, I will take that as a yes. Okay, so we'll come to the beginning of the introduction. So there are, if you see, there are some mantras here. These are called Mangalacharan. These are for invoking the auspiciousness. Now, after that, we'll we'll look through this. So we talked about this Bhagavad Gita, which is known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge. Okay, uh, now we spoke about like, okay, why this Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is very authoritatively okay, having come from the disciplic succession. Now, I want to touch upon this portion. If we look at this is the second paragraph, like after the mantras, the spirit of Bhagavad Gita that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. So Prabhupada gives an example. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted or as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna himself. Okay, so if we take, if doctor tells us like, okay, you take 2 tablets and then just avoid this food. But if I'm feeling more sick, I cannot go ahead and take 4 tablets. Like, oh, let me take high dose. So that can cause different problem. Or if they says that okay, oh, just take 2 tablets, but I say no, this tablet may cause something. So like, let me take 1 tablet only. So no, that doesn't work it like that. Or if he's asking me that okay, don't take this food, like, okay, especially your stomach is upset, you should not be taking milk. And if I think no, I like milk, let me take that. So that way it will not cure our disease. So why we are talking about this medicine is because we are in this material world, and in this material world we have to understand one thing, that this Bhagavad Gita is helping us come out of the uh, issue of nescience. Nescience means like okay, um, from our it will help us bring us out of our ignorance. Okay, the anyone who is in this material world, okay, is to be considered that okay, they are in a diseased condition. Okay, so I want to ask one question. Oh, who can anyone say that okay, who stays in a jail, who stays in a jail? No one knows.
A criminal.
Criminal, right? Yeah, so the criminal stays in the jail. Now, uh, this material world is considered to be it is considered to be a jail, and anyone who is in this jail is a prisoner in this particular jail. Okay, let me put it this way: most people who are in this jail are the prisoners, but there are some nitya siddhas. Nitya siddhas means those who are part and parcel of Lord, who come here for a very specific purpose. And what is their purpose? To let these people who are in the jail out. So, so that is the purpose with which they come. Okay, because if sometimes if you'll see that for for certain um, for um, for some of the special days, sometimes what the presidents or the prime ministers they do is they have an authority that if they want to set the prisoners out, criminals out on a particular day, they have that authority on some special days. So and sometimes okay, um, the prisoner may be there, but the prisoner may have committed a very heinous crime. However, because of their good conduct, they are let out free at an earlier date. So this is something like okay, this Bhagavad Gita is just like a human manual. Okay, and what does that manual do? That manual helps us. That manual teaches us how to operate in this human form of life. If you see in very basic general, okay, we have washing machine or dishwasher or anything any appliance that we take at home, right? It comes with a manual, and generally how to use that is given, and if there are also troubleshooting guides also within that. So it helps us understand that okay, how we can use that particular appliance. Similarly, this Bhagavad Gita tells us how we can use this human form of life. If we take this knowledge, if we understand this knowledge, okay, and if we apply this knowledge in our life, then our life will take a complete different transformational turn. Okay, I can tell one thing, like, okay, if I look back into my life, like, okay, what it was a few years back and what it is now, I can tell that okay, the, that there has been a I have lost many things. Like I have lost mainly all the anxieties. there were uh, there were always like fear of like okay, what will happen if this if that. So that thing used to always haunt. Okay, but this that thing is no longer there. Like, okay, because I can understand it's the association of such devotees. Like, okay, which is constantly protecting me actually. Uh, so, in order to understand this Bhagavad Gita, what is very crucial is that we should be in good association. So, why this is crucial is that whatever we associate with, right, we become that. So, you might say, Are, how is it possible? Now, it if we just take an example, if someone has become a businessman, okay, if you just study that person, you will see either that person in his family, like, okay, it comes from a business family, or that person s- somehow he got association and he got inspiration from someone who is doing business. So association means what inspires us, like, okay. So if we come in contact with someone, if we gain some inspiration from there, we take to that. Okay, so similarly, an alcoholic, no one starts, no one becomes an alcoholic or a gambler on their own. Like, oh, let me just take an alcohol and I should be. No, they have come in contact with something, or they may have watched, like, okay, some ads or some movie. They're okay, oh, saying that, okay, oh, this. So they are taking association, they are taking inspiration that way, and that's how they are bringing in that quality within themselves. So this is very key point, Levke, that we have to have the association. And what is that association? We have to have devotees association. That way, those devotees who are sincerely trying to follow this. So even devotee also, we have to understand, okay, devotee, there would be different types of devotees. And we have to associate with someone who is more advanced than us. Okay, and in within devotees, like, okay, if you see in this, apart from the pure devotees, there are many devotees who are practicing devotees. So we may see that, okay, oh, this person is a devotee. Why do I see this problem? Okay, but we should never criticize a devotee, because this is something very important. We should not try to criticize a devotee, but we should always understand that okay, we are in this material world. We are, as Vatsal Prabhu said, we are the criminals or the prisoners. Okay, now we are trying to take up to Krishna consciousness, and through that, our purification of our heart will happen. But while we are not purified, okay, but we have started the process. At that time, we are in the state of transition, where during that transition, okay, we may we may have some of the lower qualities that we are dealing with, and in course of time, those lower qualities will go away. Okay, we just have to keep up to that high association. uh, uh, we have to keep up with that association which is there, and that will help us transcend, okay, one step at a time. Okay, that way we start improving. Now let's go back once again to the Bhagavad Gita. So we talked about, like, okay, how this Bhagavad Gita, like, okay, we have to take it as directed by the speaker himself. Okay, so, and in here, Srila Prabhupada says that, okay, Krishna is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagwan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod, and certainly here Bhagwan designates Lord Sri Krishna as a great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, as it is confirmed by the great acharyas, and he gives all the different references here. So, uh, so here Lord Krishna's position is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, what does the supreme personality of Godhead mean? So, it means that in this, see, like, just like there are different types of, like, there is a cabinet of ministry, right? Here Joe Biden would have his cabinet of ministry. In India, Narendra Modi has his cabinet of ministry. Okay, so uh, let's say, for to to administer a country, okay, to manage a country, to make sure that, okay, everyone is doing well. Okay, what is Narendra Modi's duty? He has to take care of all the different fields. So agriculture has to be taken care of. Okay, the economic development has to be taken care of. The um, uh, to make sure that, okay, there are the technology area is doing well. Then to make sure that, okay, everyone is given food, there is medical services available. Okay, and at all levels, like, everyone is able to get that. But now let's say, like, okay, if this is the only person, if he is doing, like, okay, he will not be running behind each and every all the departments. He has a set of cabinet ministry, and they are designated to take care of this. And who do they report to? They report back to, say, in this case, in US it is Joe Biden, in India it is Narendra Modi. So Narendra Modi gets all the reports, like, okay, so the prime minister or the president, like, we get all the reports that, okay, what is happening, and then he thinks that, okay, this is going well, okay, this one needs some corrective actions. He does things accordingly. So similarly, in a company also, when the company is being operated, they will see that, okay, how is the market doing? Okay, how are what are the public share value? Are we improving as a company? Okay, I think, like, okay, we are the top line is doing very good, but then bottom line is not doing good. So, okay, we need to make some cuts. Okay, so let us we can do some cost savings. Sometimes the cost savings may be more operational in nature. Sometimes it may have some people cuts. Okay, sometimes it may have some machinery or some other stuff cut. Okay, so those different kind of approaches are being applied. Similarly, in the spiritual transcendental realm also, it is just like that. Krishna is is the supreme personality of Godhead, which means that, okay, there is no one more higher than Krishna. Okay, and he has the cabinet of ministry. All the devtas, everyone, devtas, like, okay, all the Devi devtas, they are all working for him actually, including Lord Brahma, including Lord Shiva. They are all manifested. How they are manifesting, how this world came into place, everything is given in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and and when and they are operating, like, okay, Krishna says, Mayadhyaksha Kaunteya, Suchare Sacharachara. Okay, this 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 Maya Devi, this this material nature is working under my direction. Okay, he is giving the direction. He's giving the direction, and the rest who are being given the uh, in charge, okay, they are working on his direction. So practically, going back to that previous example, okay, if the company's CEO is my friend, do I need to really worry about anything? Now, question is, we have to think in our mind, okay, do I need to engage in worship of 10 different, like many people they do, like, okay, oh, it's Hanuman Jayanti system, it's Hanuman Jayanti time. Let me worship Lord Hanuman. Oh, it's Lakshmi Puja. Let me worship Lakshmi Devi. It's now Ganesh Puja time. Let me worship Ganesha. But we have to understand who these personalities are. What do they like? Okay, if we understand the supreme position of Krishna, how he is related with each individual, how we should approach them, then we can understand how we can approach Krishna in a far easier way. Because if there is elevator available, why should I take the staircase? I have to travel 100 floors. Okay, so I have to take the fast track route. So this is something to understand. And as we go into detail in the Bhagavad Gita, these things will get more and more clear. Because as of now, some of the things may have doubts. And if there are any doubts, we should ask that. That way we are clear. So, so the next, Krishna comes to the point, okay, that when was this Bhagavad Gita first spoken? So here, this Bhagavad Gita, we know that Krishna spoke to Arjuna, but Arjuna asked this question to Krishna in the fourth chapter. He says, okay, my dear Krishna, I understand that, okay, you are speaking all this Bhagavad Gita, but tell me, how do you know this all these things? Okay, so um, then Arjun say, when Arjun was asking this, that time Krishna says that this Bhagavad Gita was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to the Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku. Now let me remind you that Ikshvaku is the dynasty where Lord Ramchandra was born. Okay, he was born in Ikshvaku dynasty, and in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in course of time, it has become completely lost. Okay, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So I want to take a pause here. So it is just, see, think about this as a father. Okay, Krishna says that, okay, that all living, I am the seed giving father of all living entities. Aham bija prajapita. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, it's saying, I am the seed giving father of all living entities. So, as a father, Krishna is always worried about all his children, and we are his children, and every living being are his children. Okay, so that is why, since people do not know how to approach Krishna, so Krishna arranges such that, okay, he's talking about this once again to Arjun, and through this medium of Arjun, he wants to communicate with us so that we get this knowledge, and we are therefore able to relate, like, okay, oh, how can I connect with Krishna? And if we become connected with Krishna, then in that case we get the supreme joy, and there is a supreme blessing actually on when we connect with Krishna. What is that supreme blessing? That supreme blessing is that then we don't have to remain as prisoners in this material world. If we remember Krishna when we are quitting this body, just by remembrance of Krishna, we are transferred to his planet. And Krishna says, like, okay, this is a very wonderful thing actually. So when I read this, like, it gave me so much joy actually. So anyone, um, so we may be worshipping a lot of deities, okay, different demigods. Like, okay, demigods means devtas or devis, like, okay. But Krishna says that whomever we worship, okay, some people they worship demigods. So what happens is at the end of the life, if they remember that demigod, they go back to the planet of the demigod. Okay, and if they remember, if they are worshiping, some people have this, they do this tantra sadhana. So if they worship ghosts, okay, and spirits, then they go back to that planet. Okay, so similarly, like some people they worship, they say, oh no, my father is everything for me, my grandfather is everything for me. So they worship pitris. So if they worship the Pitrus, then they go back to the planet of the Pitrus. And if they worship Krishna, then they go to the planet of Krishna. Now, the difference between all these things, all the other planets and Krishna's planet is like, okay, uh, one who goes back to the planet of Krishna, he never comes back to this material world. Whereas all other places, wherever they go, they are still in the material world only. And once, if even if one goes into higher planets, like in the planet of demigods, because demigods are also assigned, they also have birth, they also have death. Okay, they just have longer lifespan. But when their pious credits are over, just like by by taking a debit card, we can buy whatever we want. But like once our debit card money is over, then what happens? We have to look for some measures like, okay, of how to get more cash, right? So when their credits are over, so all this from the higher planets, one comes into the material world. And in this material world, in this human form of life only, one gets a chance to practice bhakti, to connect with Krishna. Okay, no other form, no other worship of any other demigod is called bhakti. Bhakti is always associated with Krishna. Okay, and bhakti means to offer with love. So, so let us go back once again, and we will read for another 4 5 minutes, and then we will close it for today. So here, um, here Krishna is telling Arjuna that he is relating the supreme secret to him. Why? Because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. Now, this is very important thing. Krishna is sharing the supreme secret science to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this, that means what we have to take away from this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is specially meant for the devotee of the Lord. So if we become a devotee, we were talking about the Jada Gyan and the Divya Gyan. We were talking about the material science and the transcendental science, that science which transcends this world. We will be given entrance into that transcendental science if we become a devotee of the Lord. So there are three classes of transcendentalists. There are three types of people who are transcendentalists. They are called the Gyanis, the Yogis, and the Bhakta. Okay. So the Gyanis are impersonalists. You may have heard there are people who say that, okay, I don't believe that any God has any particular form. They are impersonal. They do not consider that God has any particular form. Many people, they meditate on a light. Okay. So uh, that is impersonalist. Then there is yogi. Yogi is a meditator. The meditator, okay, the meditator, what he does is like, okay, he's doing this dhyan yoga. He's trying to do dhyan, and many times that dhyan is on something, some object, like, okay, that they are doing, but it is not on the Supreme Lord. And a devotee is always trying to devote his time, his energies, everything to serve the Lord. This is the difference. So here, Lord clearly tells Arjun that he's making him the first receiver of a new parampara because the old succession was broken. And if the Lord wish, and it was the Lord's wish, therefore, to to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming from sun god to others. And it was his wish that his teaching be distributed through Arjuna, anew by Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So, so we see this Bhagavad Gita is given to Arjuna because he's a devotee of the Lord, he's a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. So, therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. How can we get a direct relationship with the Lord? We can get direct relationship with the Lord if we are directly connected to someone who is coming in the parampara. So as soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. How can we become a devotee? Now comes that point which I told earlier. This is where we need association. If we associate with a drunkard, we become a drunkard. If we associate with a devotee, we also become a devotee. So That's why Prabhupada is saying that that is a very elaborate subject matter. Okay, but this is the point that I wanted to stop at actually. So this is the most beautiful point actually. So here we have to understand Bhagavad Gita says that okay, a devotee is in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in 5 different ways. A devotee can be a passive state, a devotee can be in an active state. That means he's devoted, he's serving the Lord, he's in a servant mode. Okay, and a devotee can be in a friendly mode, a devotee can be in a parent mode, and a devotee can be in a conjugal lover mode. Okay, if you see in a active state, in a service mode, who is such a devotee? We have Hanumanji. He is always in the mood of serving Lord Ram. He has totally come into that particular mood actually. A devotee maybe as a friend. Who is a friend of Lord? Arjuna. And what was, and in this case, Lord empowered Hanuman to do many things and he glorified Hanuman, and Lord glorified Arjuna. How? He became his chariot driver. Okay, he became subservient to Arjuna. Can you imagine Lord like becoming subservient to someone? He is the supreme Lord, but he becomes subservient to someone like, okay, whom he considered as his friend. Okay, one may be a devotee as a parent. Who is the devotee as a parent? See, Yashodamai. Yashodamai is that parent of Lord Nand Maharaj and Yashodamai. So Yashodamai, if you see the picture of Lord, okay, which we shared in the month of Kartik, okay, then you will see Yashodamai is carrying a stick in his hand and he's running after Krishna. And Prabhupada used to, if new persons would come to the temple, right, ISKCON temple, Prabhupada used to ask those new persons, can you tell me who is God here? Now Krishna looked very fearful. Ori, 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 Yashodama is coming to beat me. Krishna is running. And Yashoda is going, Are, Kana, you did this, Shaitani. You were so naughty. So that is the way Lord reciprocates. He is even the fear personified, even death personified is fearful of Krishna. But to reciprocate with his devotee, he becomes fearful of his devotee who is in the parental mode. Vatsalya bhav. And then one may be in a devotee as a conjugal lover. The gopis of Vrindavan, okay, they are the ones in the mood of conjugal lover. Okay, and out of that, the topmost is Srimati Radharani, the topmost gopi. And what is, and I will just stop with this one small um, story about okay, who uh, who there was once Narad Muni asked this question. So we have heard about Narad Muni. So Narad Muni's special thing is like okay, he does not. We know that okay, we stay in different places. Our Nandini Priya Mataji now I think is in Bangalore. Vatsal Prabhu is in West Coast. So when we travel across countries, okay, we need passport, we need visa. Even if we travel between cities, even within India or US, we need a ticket, or at least like, we need a car. We need all those facilities, right? We need gas in the car also, or we need flight tickets, train tickets, bus tickets, whatever. But however, Narad Muni is such a personality. He does not need a ticket for any place. He is a transcendental personality. He is a rocket jet by himself. He is constantly chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he gets transported. And he has entrance to this world. He has entrance to like all the different higher planets. And we'll talk about these higher planets also, what these higher planets are. Because what is Krishna's position? When we know this, we will understand that we are so insignificant. We become proud in small things, but we are so insignificant. But the Lord is so merciful that even though we are so insignificant, He reciprocates with us. And He comes to reciprocate with us. That is the mood of Krishna. That is the sweetest thing actually of Krishna. So once Narad Muni asked Krishna that, my dear Lord, can you tell me, you have so many devotees. So um, who among these devotees is your topmost? So Krishna smiled and he said, okay, one day I will tell you. It is like an appraisal in the corporate world. Sometimes, like in the corporate world, we have, okay, oh, if it is in the scale of 1 to 5, 5 means some corporates, they say, okay, they are the top 10%. And 4 is like the next 20% or so. And then 3 and 2 and 1. But here, Narad Muni is asking specifically, who are your topmost devotees? So here, once after Narad Muni asked, okay, after a few days, one day Krishna tells him that, you know what, today I'm feeling a lot of headache. I am just, this headache is becoming intolerable. And then and Narad Muni says, oh, Lord, you are having headache. What can I do? Please tell me. I want to serve you in some way. Like, okay, what is it that I can do to relieve you from this headache? Okay, because when we love someone, right, we want to serve that person. It could be, see, in even in our material world also, if we see, if we love someone, right, if we see that person is in trouble, we somehow want to give our best way of how we can serve this person. So Narad Muni offered, like, what can I do? Krishna says, oh, it's becoming very intolerable. Narad Muni said, please tell me something that I can do. So Krishna said, okay, if you want to do something, only one thing can cure me. That is the dust of the lotus feet of my devotee. Can you get the dust of my devotee's lotus feet? So Narad Muni said, okay, okay, fine, sure, my dear Lord. So before Narad Muni went, Krishna said, can you give your, you are only my devotee, can you give your dust from your feet? So, Narad Muni said, my dear Lord, what are you saying? How can I give the dust from my feet to you? Okay, you are my supreme Lord, actually. How can I give it to you? I cannot. And uh, I can't. He was just startled at what Lord is asking him. So Lord said, okay, please get me that quickly. So Narad Muni, what he did is, he thought, okay, where do I go? Okay, let me go to Lord Brahma. Okay, Brahmaji, can you give me this? So Brahmaji said, "Arey, what are you talking about? Can I give my feet dust to Lord? I can't give this." Then he said, okay, okay, fine. I'll go to hell, man, with this, like, if I have to give this. So anyway, Narad said, okay, fine. Let me go to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is always chanting, and he's Vaishnava Nametasham. So let me go to him and let me check with him. Oh, Lord Shiva, yes, yes. Oh, you know what? There is a big trouble. Our Lord Krishna is having a lot of headache actually. Oh, is it? What do I do? How can we serve him? He needs the dust of the lotus feet of his devotee. Can you give the dust from your feet? So Shiva said, Arey, what are you saying? How can I give my dust to Lord? I will go to hell for this. So I said, okay, but this is only that will cure him. No, no, I can't give this. Then he said, okay, what to do now? Then Narad Muni thought, okay, fine, let me do one thing. I have heard from Lord that gopis are also his devotees. So let me go to the gopis of Vrindavan. So he went to the gopis. The gopis were by the river of, by the Yamuna river. They were doing their, they were doing their work over there, chanting Krishna's name. So Narad Muni, when Narad Muni came, then the gopis said, "Oh Narad Muni, you have come here. You must have seen Krishna. Please tell us how he is." Then Narad Muni said, Krishna is in great trouble because he is having a lot of headache. Oh, what are you saying, Narad Muni? Then why are you here? You should be there. He said, no, no, actually, his, he told me that, okay, uh, his headache will be only gone if I get the dust of the lotus feet of his devotees. Oh, is it? Yeah. Can you give the dust from your feet? Yeah, you can. Our feet dust will work. Okay, let us do one thing. They all went and wetted their feet in the Yamuna, and then they brought a bit a big basket and they started spilling the dust from their feet. Like this. Okay. Okay, Narad Muni, is this enough? Everyone went and put the dust from his feet into this. Then Narad Muni saw that, okay, these gopis, they're so, what are they doing? Then Narad Muni went and asked, like, okay, oh gopis, do you know what you're trying to do? You're giving the dust of your feet for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do you know, as a result of this, you have to go to hell for millions of years? Then this is where I want you to be very attentive in hearing this. The gopis said, for Krishna's pleasure, if we have to go to hell for millions of birth, we are willing to go to the hell for the pleasure of Krishna. If this gives pleasure to Krishna, and for even one moment, we are willing to take that. And Narad Muni, when he brought this back, and he came and narrated, he was crying actually. He understood the mood of gopis. What is the mood of gopis? What is the love that gopis have for Krishna? That is why this this mood, this madhurya bhav of gopis is the most exalted. And as we go into this Bhagavad Gita, as we study this, as we understand what is devotion, okay, as we try to imbibe this, we should understand, we should always keep, like, okay, the different devotees, we should try to seek for blessings from everyone. Uh, and especially as we read the Bhagavad Gita, the best form of reading this Bhagavad Gita is that one is that there are Krishna's words, Prabhupada has translated it for us. Krishna is the Supreme Father. And when we read the translations, we are reading what the Supreme Father has given us. But along with that, okay, there is this blessing of the acharyas. So in the parampara, the acharyas, whatever commentary they've given, Srila Prabhupada has summarized those commentary and given us the most essence of those in the form of his purports. And those purports, if we read it, just like those are very personalized for us, saying that, okay, dear Anant Vilas Das, please accept my blessings. And then we read this, yours, uh, your ever well wisher, Srila Prabhupada. So if we read this in that way, then we will establish a connection with Krishna, we'll establish a connection with Prabhupada. By Prabhupada's mercy, we will have the deep-seated bhakti like in our heart. And with that, I would like to conclude this. If you have any questions, we can take it now. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, गीतोपनिषद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, ताय गौर प्रेमानंदी, हरि हरि बोल, Hare Krishna. Any one of you who have any questions or any comments, we can take it now, or we can conclude this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Nityanatji.
Yeah, it was nice. Like, yeah, like you have explained Bhagavad Gita very nicely, and it's I can understand very much nicely, Prabhuji, than what I was reading. And the story was very like it's the reality of gopis towards Krishna is very it's a very wonderful thing. This is the first time I'm hearing that story. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. And if we somehow or other, if through this Bhagavad Gita, if somehow or other, if we see, the thing is, the reason we are in this material world, we are suffering, is because we have lost our connection with Krishna. Somehow or other, if we develop our connection with Krishna, then we can understand that how he is holding our hand in each and every situation. So if we go and offer a flower to Krishna, right? That Krishna, I have brought this out of love for you. We may have a picture of Krishna, but Krishna reciprocates even through pictures. Okay? And I brought this flower out of love for you. If we have tulsi, if we offer tulsi at the lotus feet of Krishna, then it definitely pleases Krishna. This is the best service that we can do. Gangajal and tulsi. If we just put it just takes less than 1 minute. Okay, we dip the tulsi in Gangajal and we put it. If we want to make it little elaborate, want to spend 1 more minute time, then we can take sandalwood paste, chandan, and apply it. This is most pleasing to Krishna. And um, and it is Nandini Priya Mataji, like whatever I'm sharing is like what we have got from the Guru Parampara, what we have got from Srila Prabhupada. So it is all glories to them. And and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Krishna himself. He came to give us the love for Krishna in a way, in a in the most easiest way that is accessible for us. If we look for people around us, look, okay, there are everyone is a child of Krishna. Okay, and if we just try to serve everyone around who are there, like, whomever we can serve in whatever way we can, with the objective that Krishna, I really want to please you. You are also seated in this person's heart. I just want to serve you, to please you. Then, and we also try to serve Krishna, okay, especially when there are opportunities to serve pure devotees. Then we take that opportunity in whatever capacity. It could be small, it could be big, because Krishna does not, he never sees anything small. When the monkeys were building the bridge, um, Hanumanji was throwing big boulders, and there was one squirrel who was trying to take some dust. So this Hanumanji said, "Oh squirrel, please get aside, because I have to take a boulder." And then as he did this, he noticed that Lord Ramchandra was also there, and then Lord Ramchandra was looking at him. He said, Hanuman, whatever you are doing and whatever this squirrel is doing, in my eyes, both are same. With whatever love you are doing this, with the same love the squirrel is also doing. So please allow that squirrel also to do that service. And Hanumanji became immediately very humbled and very respectful for that squirrel. So it does not matter what our past background is, when we have started, okay, how much we are able to do. But if we are trying to do the best in our capacity, that's all what Krishna, that's all it matters for Krishna. Then, then slowly and steadily, it is definite that we will advance in this field of bhakti. And whatever we do it out of love for Krishna, out of love for Prabhupada. And the easiest way to get Krishna's mercy is to catch hold of Prabhupada's lotus feet. Okay, in how Prabhupada is directing us. Because Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He created massive transformations. We are seeing, like, okay, even after like Prabhupada came to America at the age of 69, he came in 1966. Okay, and it's been more than 50 years. And we can see that that the movement is growing so fast, because Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has blessed that this is the golden age, and this mission will be the golden period of this mission of Krishna consciousness is 10,000 years. After 10,000 years in this Kali Yuga, like there will be no ISKCON, okay, and there'll be no bhakti, there'll be no there'll be no worship at all, okay, and it will be a very dark age. And we are only into 5,000 years into Kali Yuga, and we are saying it's so dark. but if we are in association of devotees, then it is the most blissful thing. And this this Kali Yuga, the total age of this Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. Of that, only 5,000 years are over, and the golden age is only for 10,000 years. So we can understand that, okay, we are most fortunate to be able to hear this, okay, like these are all whatever we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. And our most uh, phenomenal Guru Parampara. I hope, thank you very much, Nandini Priyaji. I hope that helps. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, then we can end it here. Okay. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I wish you all a very fantastic week. Just wanted to remind you all that tomorrow is Ekadashi. I know that one of our devotees, they send this Ekadashi messages. Ananta Karuna Prabhu, he sends Ekadashi messages in the group. So I hope all of you are doing Ekadashi. Um, Ekadashi is something like which devotees generally do. It is something I would highly encourage if you are not doing to do this, because what Ekadashi does is like it allows us to become very dear to Krishna in very easy way. Um, it is it also, as a side effect of Ekadashi, all our past karmas like equal to Sumeru Parvat, our scriptures say, they are all dissipated. Okay? They are all dissolved. Okay? So, and how to follow the Ekadashi? Ekadashi, on the day of Ekadashi, we should fast from, obviously we should not take any non-vegetarian items, but then we should try to avoid grains. That means rice, dal, chapati, all these type of things, and any um, any grain related items like bread or biscuit or those kind of things also. And beans means French beans, soya beans, those kind of things like, okay, we should try to avoid. We can eat in we can uh, we can cook in either ghee or groundnut oil or sunflower oil if it is not mixed with anything. Even olive oil is also fine. And we should have we can have sabudana, we can have fruits, we can have quinoa, we can have fruit salads, like, okay, and we can have other salad items also. So, and best thing is like, okay, if we can just, before we have any food, if we can offer it to Krishna, very simple, like, okay, just whatever we have cooked. When while we are cooking, we think that, okay, Krishna, I'm cooking this out of love for you, please accept this offering, and then we put it in a special, in a different plate. It could be in a paper plate. Ideally we should have a separate plate for Krishna, where we are able to offer it to Krishna with love. And that plate, we should not wash it with our things, but we should keep it separate. And then we take that bhoga to Krishna, put tulsi leaf on that, because whenever tulsi is there, Krishna accepts that offering. And then tell Krishna that, "Oh, Krishna, what is my value, and what can I actually offer you? What is my value, and what is the value of these things? It is actually nothing. You are the supreme Lord. Entire creation belongs to you, and so many devotees are giving you so much. But I have brought this very much insignificant thing out of love for you. Can you please accept it, my dear Lord?" And pray to Srila Prabhupada that, "Okay, please accept this and give us your remnants." So when we accept the prasad of Lord and his devotees, then by that mercy, prasad means mercy, by that mercy we get purified. We get the right consciousness. We get the right consciousness to act upon. In the initial days, we may not know anything because we may not know how prasad is working. But as time progresses, we may we will understand this, that how our consciousness is changing, how we are becoming um, free from different type of attachments, actually. Okay, and when we get free from attachments, these attachments are the reasons which causes us different type of anxieties, different types of pains. That way we get the higher consciousness. Okay, and that way our attraction towards Krishna increases. See, when we get a higher taste for things, right, we lose the lower taste. When we get uh, when we have ice cream, we may not like to have only milk. So similarly, okay, when we get the higher taste, we lose the lower taste. So uh, and and when we uh, get when we actually get develop love towards Krishna, we are able to serve everyone around us with more sincerity, and we become more sensitive to everyone around us. And if it is family or anything, like okay, we try to give more love because we understand that Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart. As we progress more into this discussion of Bhagavad Gita, we'll understand this how Krishna is how Arjuna is discussing with Krishna, how this discussion takes turns, and how through those turns, like, okay, how Arjuna comes out, like, okay, with matured understanding. And as Arjuna is maturing through this with our discussions on Bhagavad Gita, we will also mature in due course of time, like, okay, to understand in a deeper concept. Like, okay, we may have more realizations with our personal life. And I want you to share what your realizations are. That way, like, okay, um, we can share amongst ourselves and we can understand this in a deeper way. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Nandini Priya Mataji, thank you very much. Vatsal Prabhu, Nandrani Prabhu Mataji, Ashok Krishna Charan Prabhu, Dandut Pranam. Hare Krishna. Please take care.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.